Because of our quest for cashless payments, we seem to have ignored consumer protection, or we are not really emphasizing it so much. So you find that even the players or the providers of digital payments tend to underlook that responsibility to educate their customers, to handle their grievances at least on time. I'll give you an example. If you go to these cash deposit accepting ATMs, you deposit there your money. You think you're depositing to the account. Then it can even give you a receipt. Then you go and check your account and it is not there. Yes. You have deposited, you put money in an ATM machine.
As an autonomous receiving technology.
It is issuing you a receipt telling you that your cash has been received, but then you're checking your account and the money is not
there
in the account. So it creates that suspicion. So where is the money?
This is the Policy Digest, a Center for Policy Analysis podcast that explores how African societies are governed and how people and their leaders are shaping the future of their communities. Through candid conversations and insightful analysis, we aim to provide a deeper understanding of the political, economic, and social landscape of Africa. So sit back, relax, and get ready to explore the diverse and dynamic world of African governance.
So the other day I was in Nairobi. So I want to buy a drink or two at a mall, and someone says, I'm not taking your money. And it was not Ugandan shilling, it was Kenyan shillings. I was like, come on, this is money. And they're like, no, we're not taking your money. And it dawned on me that back home, well, if you want to use, if you actually want to use cashless, sometimes you're the one who is seen as a problem. You'll be like, stop being like so exotic. They'll be like, what do you mean? But it looks like other countries have sort of moved on in terms of advancing towards a cashless economy. And just to ensure that this conversation is timely, recently the Governor Bank of Uganda I had a podcast where he did indicate that there are efforts of Bank of Uganda is making to ensure that we have like a more cashless economy. So we're going to have a podcast on Uganda's quest to have a cashless economy. And in order to do that, we're joined by one of the leading economists in the Ugandan space at the moment. We did a podcast with him, which was on the political economy of Umeme's exit. Yeah, Umeme's exit. We have a new friend, UEDCL. If you remember the podcast, the Policy Digest podcast, you need to just go and watch it. That is none other than Eric Odong, who is an economist with CSBAG. Welcome.
Thank you, Joseph, for inviting me.
First things first. So when people speak of a cashless economy, it sounds like a dream in the future or things they say about in America. What does a cashless economy mean?
Just to simply put it, a cashless economy is an economy where we are using more of digital payments and less of the physical cash to facilitate our transactions. That is simply a cashless economy. Cashless.
And I'm just going to go to the second question. I'm going to go to the second question. In this specific case, there are countries like Kenya, like Sudan, South Korea, who have made like fundamental efforts towards going to a cashless economy. I mean, what benefits do they have? We all make transactions. So what benefits do they have that we don't have?
The immediate benefit is transaction costs. When you have a lot of cash, then you have a bit of high costs in terms of doing your transactions. I'll give you an example. If you want to buy land somewhere, and I've told you that land costs 1 billion Uganda shillings. So you have to begin thinking, how am I going to move 1 billion from my bank to this particular place where we are settling the transaction? You know how land transactions happen. people are there seated
In the flesh.
and witnesses and so on. So you have to move the physical payment, then you have to even have money for paying those witnesses, the LCs and so on. So that cost which comes with how you are transporting the money, it's safety. Then even the after, remember you're just transferring, even the other person who is receiving the billion will be thinking of how am I going to now transport it to my bank. So you find that the costs around that transaction will significantly go up compared to maybe the digital side of it, where you would transfer from your account to the other person's account and you have settled. No money has moved, it is secure, and everyone is happy.
But Eric, if it is that secure and cheaper, why is that people are not taking it up? Why is it? Does it look like? Why is the adoption rate really low?
Adoption has very many factors. For example, if you look at the support infrastructure around digital transactions, it is not. We are not really up there, because you find instances where you transfer money and the other person takes long to get notification of that transfer. You also have instances where money has not reached the other party.
It's like in a pipeline.
Yes.
The way you would put money on a border and those it delays, it also delays.
Yes. So those simple deficiencies are affecting trust when it comes to digital payments. But even when you look at the legal part of it, so if I don't receive the money, where do I begin from? Take an example of online payments. I bought something online, Jumia, Glovo,
Amazon.
Yes. Then I have made my payment. For me, I'm very sure that I have paid because I've been deducted. You imagine the other person telling me, I have not received your payment. Then you have to maybe call the telecom, call the bank, call that part there, that inconvenience which comes with it is what is affecting trust. But those are just inefficiencies
I've heard,
which are hurting the idea.
If you sort of see how like Airtel Money advertises, they normally say we're instant, secure. What is the other word they use? But there's a form of instant. Is that like a pipeline where the money is chalked? If I got money and I sent it to you on the border,
Yes.
right? If it got lost, if it delays, I know the border has delayed.
Yes.
What
that is
exactly
true.
causes the delay in that specific case?
There are a lot of things. For example, sometimes the telecoms have third parties that are part of the digital infrastructure. So there could be a problem of communication between a third party
Third party system and
yes, and the core system of the telecom. So that can cause issues. Then you have maybe even just general failures that can happen in any instance, by the way. As an economy develops, as the digital infrastructure increases in terms of capacity, you would find less of those inefficiencies. But for now, we are seeing that those inefficiencies are hurting the adoption of digital payments.
just to drive this point home, I like when you go to an area which does not have good network, sometimes you send a message, but that message takes like a long time to reflect the other side. Is it the same thing? Because the computer systems are not talking to each other well, the transaction ends up delaying. Not necessarily
that you have
someone in the bank is saying money shouldn't arrive.
Yes, that bit happens because of again what I'm explaining. There are other system dependencies which cause those issues to happen. But by and large, we have progressed from somewhere, because in around 2009, if you told someone that I don't have cash but I can send you electronic money, I think someone would look at you and they're
Concept
like,
of electronic money.
what are you even talking about?
What are you talking about? Yeah.
So, but these days, even if you told a taxi person that I don't have physical cash but I can send it to you on your mobile, the discussion has changed from will it reach me to include withdrawal charges. I think we have progressed.
There is progress.
Yes,
Yeah.
someone will tell you that just include withdrawal charges, which is pointing to what I told you about transaction cost. So when you look at the Kenyan side, they've tried to, they've progressed a bit faster than us in that space.
What can government do?
Payments.
Is it internet? Is it backbone infrastructure? What would you do to make it like seamless? I understand like when I make a payment via like PayPal and others, it sort of drags and takes quite a lot of time. What do you do to make it real? I've seen supermarkets in China where you sort of just scan and then you pay directly.
You see, the good thing is that technology has become so democratized now. So you find that part of what is happening in China is what is happening here in Uganda. Even in Uganda, you can scan to pay. But to respond directly to what you're bringing out, infrastructure is key. Safety of payments is very, very important. Then sensitization of the public. You see, if you leave digital payments to the providers, they have a delicate balance between cost and promoting the service. So if someone reaches a point where they have broken even, then they
don't have an incentive to do certain
there's
things.
No more incentive to even innovate further to make the entire process seamless for the client. But now on the side of government, if you provide the core infrastructure which is necessary for digital payments, but also follow it up with sensitization of citizens, working together with the digital players or the digital providers, then you will have more reach, you'll have more people embrace digital payments. Remember, there's evidence that digital payments can facilitate economic
transformation.
growth.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is in the interest of government that digital payments are embraced, because technology around us is not static. It is evolving every day. So we have to make sure that at least we are not left behind.
Recently, a lot of money was siphoned from a Bank of Uganda account. You heard about it, right?
Yes.
Also people, with fraudsters and all, people like who call, hello Eric, I'm like your uncle from the village, I've sent you money, could you send it back? It looks like issues around trust and cashless economy. Of course, when we talk about cashless economy, I imagine we don't just talk about money, we talk about things like cryptocurrency,
Yes.
we're talking about blockchain technology.
Yes.
I think people are kind of receptive to technology in other areas, but technology concerning money is something which they're not so receptive to. What do you think would be the steps that we would take in terms of dealing with the biases in this specific case?
The game changer is sensitization. If you increase sensitization, then you're going to make the technology acceptable to the citizens. But also, you need to work out safety mechanisms. Like you're saying, if the central bank can get hit, then who is safe? That's what goes on in someone's mind who is thinking about how much money is held in digital value, how much of my wealth, how much of my money is held digitally. Then I ask now the question of safety of that money in that form. How much of it is safe?
Some people
Because right now,
I need to hedge my risk.
Yes,
I had
someone
all
is
my
like,
money
okay,
in that
I'll have
flow.
this amount in digital form, but I will also have this amount in physical cash, because you never know
You never
if
know.
the central bank can get hit. But those things happen. Bank of Uganda is not the first to lose money like that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the technology is something to forget. It's something to do away with. No, it is actually an indication that probably what systems you had in place are not adequate. So what you have to do is to now close up any gaps which led to that. Private players lose money, like commercial banks and even telecoms can lose money to those dubious characters who do hacking and so on.
Yeah, sure.
But the response to it is key, and how you manage risk entirely around it, because there's technology, there's the process, then there's the person. So where was the gap? Is it in the technology? Are we using obsolete technology? Is it our processes? Were we lacking somewhere? Or it is the people that are managing the technology that created the problem. So you address it where it is, where you've diagnosed that this is where the problem is, so you fix that.
I get you, and I like that you're going to solutions. But do you think that sometimes, let's say, either the lack of intervention or government's actions endanger trust in digital systems, or the atmosphere as it is? Do you think, let's say, that specific incidents could have reduced people's trust?
Yes, it could have reduced, but also the general state of our infrastructure. You can see we still have low penetration in access to bank accounts and their utilization. So it means money which is actually in electronic form is not really. It's not really. If you looked at it from an individual point of view, individuals are not preferring to have their money in electronic form. But when you have, for example, you see, in the past, government used to pay people physical cash, salaries.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes. Then now they changed, and you have to go to your bank account and you withdraw the cash from the bank. That is a step. If you look at it from a business person, there are now businesses where the infrastructure to accept digital payments is there. So, and
they can even afford it.
Yes, they can afford it. And there are immense advantages to it. So for businesses which are experiencing the advantages of having digital payments or accepting digital payments, when you look at their experience, they are the ones who are making a stronger case for digital payments.
Just something small there. People around here don't love paying taxes, and it looks like the link between every digital payment you're having a name is not something they love so much. Do you think the pushback against like an entire cashless economy is one which has a lot to do with people knowing that the technology is good, but they probably are evading. And I want us to then go into the question of money laundering just after that.
You see, with the taxation, taxation is one aspect that relies heavily on evidence, and digital transactions provide evidence.
Real-time evidence. Yeah.
Yes. So, unfortunately, because of the inadequacies around tax education, people, the initial instinct in someone is that I need to dodge taxes, and the way I can dodge is by avoiding digital payments. But sometimes,
because most of
you
Uganda's
might find
economy
that
is informal.
Yes, you might find that through making digital payments, you are able to justify your expenditure. And because you can justify your expenditure, then your tax obligation will reduce. But if you're relying on someone's estimation, remember in our country we are running a self-declaration regime. So in a self-declaration regime, you're the one to tell the taxman
This is the only tax I have for you.
This is the tax I have arising from my expenses, and this is the income I had got. So this is the balance which I am willing to pay for as tax. But if someone in similar business circumstances like you is having a different figure, then you cause a problem. Because now, especially if the other person has digital proof or has evidence that is the kind of that is the performance of that line of business. So you find that on one side, your avoidance of digital payments on account of fearing taxes can actually expose you to more tax.
I get you. You remember the strike of the traders?
Yes.
They had said government is introducing a system which is not tax, but is going to make them pay more tax if it's right.
Yes.
And there was kind of like a lot of resistance in that specific direction. And I just wanted to now get into like one of the recommendations you raised. For those of you who can see on the screen, CSBAG, that's a civil society budget advocacy group, did release a very good policy paper on the quest for a cashless economy. And so I totally understand. You argue that there's need for like legislation that sort of points towards enabling the cashless economy.
Yes.
What would that look like? Would it be one which sort of requires people to only transact in a cashless way, or would it be that provides positive incentives towards like going towards a cashless economy? Would it be the carrot or would it be the stick, given our experiences as Uganda?
I think given our experience as Uganda, we would need to begin from an incentive part. But before we even go to the incentive, we need to make sure that the infrastructure to support digital payments is there. And when that infrastructure is there, then we look at an enabling legal environment. Because right now, we have so many regulations that touch electronic transactions, but we are not we are not convergent on how to manage these electronic transactions.
Oh yeah.
For example, if you go to your bank and you sign up for mobile banking, probably you don't read the details there. You don't read the details there. You have seen clients get problems. They will tell you your password was used for sending this money, but the person is like,
I've seen several lawsuits.
I have never given anyone my password. So it is the word of the bank against you, because the bank can prove that here this is your password being used, but for you, you cannot prove that you never gave anyone your password. So it becomes a bit difficult, and those are the things which are affecting trust in digital payments. So a bit of harmonization there and consumer protection. There's a bit of, because of our because of our quest for cashless payments, we seem to have ignored consumer protection, or we are not really emphasizing it so much. So you find that even the players or the providers of digital payments tend to underlook that responsibility to educate their customers, to handle their grievances at least on time. I'll give you an example. If you go to these cash deposit accepting ATMs, you deposit there your money. You think you're depositing to the account. Then it can even give you a receipt. Then you go and check your account and it is not there. Yes. You have deposited, you put money in an ATM machine.
As an autonomous receiving
Yes.
technology.
It is issuing you a receipt telling you that your cash has been received, but then you're checking your account and the money is not
there
in the account. So it creates that suspicion. So where is the money? That is not the issue. So you reach out to your bank and you inform them that, I have this problem here. I deposited money and it is not there. Then the bank takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks to put back the money in the
your
account.
money, the one
Yes.
you brought there.
When you go through that experience, then you'll think twice the next time you're going to
deposit in the machine
through a cash accepting machine, because when you deposit, when you move cash into that system, it means the next transaction you might do, you're just going to send someone money electronically instead of sending them the physical cash. So that part of consumer protection, how do we manage those grievances as they arise for the good of this idea of a cashless
what will government
economy?
do? Would it say that this is how you must manage the grievance? Let's say if you're to have, at the moment, is there like a regulation on how banks should handle it? Would the law say, okay, this is the process? Would there be like an appeal body of sorts to sort of sort the problem?
Yes, there are regulations in place. Unfortunately, awareness of the regulations is where we are lacking. So you find that someone, first of all, from that point in the ATM itself, maybe the immediate thing that the regulator should demand is that because of a likelihood of a malfunction in the ATM, there should be clear signage on that machine to tell someone that in case you do not succeed in the deposit, call this number. When you call the number, how long has the issue taken
respond
to
within
be resolved?
Yeah.
So that mechanism should be there in place. But also general sensitization of the public. You see, another issue is on system availability. It is difficult because of various factors. But communication is very, very important. If a system that is enabling digital payments is going to encounter a problem, then the provider of that system should take the responsibility to inform someone that we are going to have a problem, because that digital part, that digital infrastructure is like physical cash. That's what we are convincing someone.
Yeah.
You can't tell someone that, yes, you have money in your pocket, but right now we cannot accept it. We shall accept it in 10 minutes time, in 20 minutes time.
Yeah, it's difficult.
It doesn't work that way. Whereas my maybe mobile money account can go off at any time. If I have physical cash in my pocket, then I'm going to pay for my service or for anything that I need at that moment. So that part of communication between the provider and the user is very, very important.
And I think that's important. And just wanted to get into like the stakeholders in this case. There are three. What would be the role of government in this, the government institution, Bank of Uganda,
Yes.
this process? Do you think the system, let's say, which the Governor Bank of Uganda talked about, is like a pipeline which sort of powers the cashless economy? Do you think it would work? How would it exactly work to power that economy? I'm told they wanted to sort of invest in it. It's more or less like a road of sorts.
It's sensitization of the public on digital payments, on digital infrastructure, on digital rights of me, the consumer. That should be the role of the regulator. It can do it directly, or it can do it jointly with the providers. It can require that at least maybe on a quarterly basis, the providers should demonstrate the effort they've made in sensitizing the public around the advantages, the risks, the safety measures in place
protection
on digital transactions. That is very, very important. But also, it has a responsibility on cost. You know that the national payment system is at Bank of Uganda. So the
one which coordinates like
yes,
the transfers,
yes. So that reduction of transaction cost, it should be of interest to Bank of Uganda, probably to shift the providers from the profit motive to first the provision motive. Let us drive access first, then we see how profitability will come in the future, but let us drive access.
Do you think maybe if Bank of Uganda came in and provided that sort of buffering role rather than simply advising them, do you think it would, let's say, bring down the cost of transactions?
Yeah, I think Bank of Uganda is doing a lot, but the cost part is a bit broad. There are costs to the provider, which are because of underlying issues. For example, the overall cost of internet. So that may not necessarily be a Bank of Uganda issue, because Bank of Uganda does not determine the cost of internet. But when you now look at the pricing of these transactions, that is maybe what Bank of Uganda should look into. So that if you are telling someone that you are transferring money from the bank to your phone, then it should be at this cost, not beyond that. Because the assumption, to me, the way I think of it is this way. The bank is having the bank account of the telecom company, and I'm moving money from my bank account, which is in that bank X, to the telecom's bank account, which is in the same bank. So at least the cost should be reasonable to me, so that it is encouraging for me to transact that way. Honestly, for now, it is prohibitive. If I think of how much I'm going to incur transferring money from my mobile phone to my bank account, or from my bank account to my mobile account, the safest means is for me to look for an agent withdraw, or look for an ATM withdraw, and I deposit to the other platform. So that bit of transaction costs requires the regulator to work with other players to at least work out a way of subsidizing it further.
At the moment, does Bank of Uganda regulate the cost of those fees, or am I free to simply set the cost which I deem relevant to my interests?
I don't think the cost is being regulated right now. The idea is that don't regulate the cost, because they are running a free market system. Don't necessarily fix the cost, but provide incentive towards a lower cost. For example, investing in shared infrastructure, subsidize other, identify what is driving cost, so that you discuss how to subsidize it. That is the role that the government can play in dealing with cost.
I get you. It's and maybe as we close, in this case, the citizen. What does the citizen do? Are they simply on the driving seat of being incentivized in different directions? What can citizens do? What is their role?
I think for a citizen, number one is to let us demand for quality digital services. It's not, if a private player is making profit, the incentive to improve may not necessarily be there. So it is better that the citizens actively engage with government, various sections of government, to drive an agenda which is citizen-centered when it comes to digital payments, paying attention to safety and cost issues, because that's where the citizen is mostly affected. Safety, cost, and even efficiency of the entire payment systems. But also, there are available platforms right now. Yes, you may not wait for Bank of Uganda to roll out a sensitization program, or your provider to roll out a sensitization program, but most of the things are available for you online. For those who have access to these resources, it is just not good for you to be lazy, not to read. You go to a bank, you sign things. You go to a telecom, you sign things. Then
You don't
later,
even know what they are talking about. Yeah,
you realize that what I've signed probably is not a product I need. So you end up with, you're taking on risks which you don't necessarily entertain as a person. So that there's some sense of responsibility that a citizen should also take when you're utilizing digital services.
I get you, and thank you. So to you, our viewer, this is a very good paper, The Quest for a Cashless Economy. It covers quite a number of areas. There are 5 problem areas that they do highlight in the paper: increased transparency in the financial system, which is obvious. People who love money laundering don't love such an idea, but I think we quite need it. We need to globally integrate into the system. We need to ensure that we're not spending too much on managing money. Just a lot of money goes into printing money, so it is quite costly. So that the paper, and just a bit of analytics here, just to construct a community hospital, you sort of spend just 12 billion, and remember now, just in financial year, that's 23-24, Bank of Uganda used 13.299 billion to print money. These costs can go down if we're sort of driving towards cashless economy, and this money goes into more constructive issues. And I think this is quite vital. You could just look through the paper. It's incredible work that they do here in terms of how much money we have to spend in, destroying banknotes and all. It's quite good. Go ahead and look at civil society's analysis on sort of what we are able to do. I don't know. Do you have any parting shots as we conclude this conversation?
Yes. We're in an election time now, so physical cash is everywhere. So that's going to be a bit of a problem, because now you have people having more physical cash, especially the politicians. So money will move from the digital platform to but just maybe a word of caution: it's better that this money stays digital, because there we are able to to really track it and manage it better. So for maybe electoral commission, it may not necessarily encourage it, but it should at least guide on how physical cash is used during campaigns. Sometimes it is used legitimately, sometimes it is illegitimate. But where it is legitimately used, at least digital forms of payments should be encouraged. That is how we are going to cut down the other side where we're saying money printing, destroying, because right now the money which is given in elections, you're not going to give it even easily. You're going to fold it.
Absolutely.
You're going to smash it.
You give it private.
And you pass on someone. So if a note is supposed to take maybe 2 years, it's just going to get worn out in 6 months. So after elections, we might have to go and print new money. So that's a cost to you, the taxpayer, and me. Thank you very much.
And that's quite a lot. 13 billion. What can 13 billion do? 13 billion could construct a community hospital. But also it's kind of convenient. We need to it's cooler, right? And we're Gen Zs. So what can we do to move towards a total cashless economy? You could just read this paper as well, watch this conversation that CSBAG wrote, and you'll be tuned in. Thank you.
Welcome to the Parliament Performance Tracker Platform, a portal designed to empower Ugandan citizens with valuable insights into their Parliament's performance and financial landscape. Some of the key highlights of this platform include the Parliament Legislators Report Card. Here, you find comprehensive information on the members of the Ugandan Parliament, from contact details and their biographies to their legislative performance, including bills sponsored, bill participation, term count, and the number of parliamentary committees they sit on. This section provides a transparent view on each legislator's contributions and activities. The Finance Tracker. This consists of two powerful tools, the Budget Tracker and the Debt Tracker. The Budget Tracker displays the current budget allocations of Uganda, allowing you to track how public resources are distributed across various sectors. But that's not all. There is also the Budget Simulator tool, enabling you to actively participate in the budgeting process by simulating your preferred resource allocations. While the Debt Tracker provides insights into Uganda's national debt standing, you discover key metrics such as the debt per citizen, GDP per capita, and per capita income, along with the sources of these loans. Stay informed about Uganda's financial health and the implications for future generations. Insights. This is a platform where you can gain valuable knowledge about Parliament-related topics. Simply enter your queries and our system will fetch relevant articles and also provide AI-generated summaries, offering you a deeper understanding of the issues that matter to you. With its comprehensive tools, staying informed about Uganda's parliament and financial landscape has never been easier. Whether you're curious about your representative's performance, want to understand their budget allocations, or seek insights on parliament-related topics, this platform has you covered. Empower yourself with data and take an active role in shaping Uganda's future. Parliament Watch. Your eye on Parliament.
Thank you for listening to the Policy Digest podcast, the Center for Policy Analysis podcast that is profiling African ideas and people that are shaping the future of their communities. Subscribe to all our platforms on YouTube and Podbean.